Welcome back, everybody. Holiday Doc here, and we are doing another competitive match. Team Equinox versus Static ICN Tournament Round 4. Now, we got a Hanoi, domination. I personally hate this map and game type combined, just because it's a really campy, as you're going to see. It's not the most strategic map, and it's more just a who can chuck the better nade and who can camp the better spot. It seems it's a real I don't know a single team that actually enjoys this map, so there's definitely going to be a lot of mixed reviews on it, but I think we're going to see some great gameplay as two high caliber teams face off against each other. Team Equinox in the top 5 on the map gen variant ladder right now, so they are doing a very good job of representing themselves, and definitely a new team to really watch out for. We're primarily a search and destroy override team in Modern Warfare 2, so making the transition to some more competitive stuff, I really applaud them for doing that, and I think it's going to only lead them to bigger and better things. So on the eyes of TE Marine himself, team lead, captain, whatever you want to call him, and his choice of gun is the AK-74U with rapid fire. Personally, I disagree with the rapid fire. Basically, I think you expend way too many bullets per exchange or per situation, and you're really left to reload often. Now, sleight of hand will combat this, but is hardened maybe a better option when you're facing against guys that don't really miss shots? Things to think about. Always adjusting your playstyle. You're always thinking about new options and definitely new ways to go about playing different various maps and game types. So, one thing I want to talk about, domination. It's a tough game type. Basically, it's split into two halves, and you play one side and then another, and you calculate the total amount of points accumulated on both sides to avoid any sort of one-sided map play. This is a good idea, and they did this in Call of Duty 4, and I think it really landed for some great matches and took out the whole factor of having one-sided maps. So, that being said, teams are really adapting differently. Lots of different teams are playing it very different. Reasons being, some teams are more comfortable with triple capping and just floating around and watching spawns and watching flags get take. And then you get other teams that really want to just take 2 flags, run between 2 of them, and just secure the win and be cautious about it. Now, what we're seeing here is a more cautious approach. Obviously, we're playing 2 top teams. Team Equinox versus Team Static. Team Static is a very well-known team and got some great players on there. So you cannot go into this type of game with the assumption that it's going to be a pushover. You're not going to have one team just obliterate and, have all the carnage on just one side. So you're gonna run into some good gunfights, some good counters, and nades. Nades are a primary defensive maneuver strategy when you're playing domination. Teams will sit there and practice their counter nades. Counter nades being, you see a flag getting capped, like we've seen earlier. Marine was right at this position. He turned around, seeing A was being capped, and threw a nade overhead to get the capper. One way you can counter the nade throws is to have a 2-man team run specific points. Now, if you get 2 guys on a flag cap at once, you're going to cut the time needed to cap the flag in half. That means, you're going to not get naded nearly as often, and you're going to capture the point a lot more readily and easy. So, these are just basic tips. A lot of people don't agree with what I have to say, and, that's fine. But, I think I've got a pretty good idea of how this game is going to be played and how it needs to be played. Not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people really take the time to think about all the various things. Right here, fail nade, you're never going to throw a Semtex that far to A. So Marine needs to practice his nades a little more, it seems. But getting back, 2 points on the map wins you the game. 3 points will score you a lot of points, but your team really needs to be ready for it. If you're going to go for triple caps, one thing you need to do is position yourself towards the middle grouping of the map. Now you want to stick as many guys in or around this area as possible. This will force spawns to continuous outsides of the map. This will give you better position on the nade throws, and this will give you better, times and route times to get back to the flags and counter the cap. Always got to be one step ahead of your teammate or your enemy opposition. Poor spawn on that poor guy, Hey Jews, as he got taken out right from the rear. And one thing TE Marines team does, even though they're down, they don't group up, and it doesn't seem like they're getting frustrated. This is kind of where I was talking about the campy. They're losing, they just capped 2 flags. Marine is more worried about the win rather than what people might think. When you're talking competitive, plays are pulled out to win the game. Okay? You can't be worried about your kill to death, and you cannot be worried about your playstyles. You gotta just focus on playing the objective and getting the win done. So he's positioned up on C. They've got 2 guys over on B. One's in film, one's down below. And now as soon as he sees C flag getting capped, he pulls in to counter it and gets the kill. The triple cap, kind of a desperation attempt, I believe, at this point. It wasn't really planned. A B flag was getting taken from them, so they went and took A. They did counter the B cap, and they also took A cap, so now they're landed with a triple, just allowing those points to accumulate up. Very great play by TE Marines team as they pull way above in the lead here in the last minute, and at this point, without a triple cap from the other team, Static is going to be left to lose this round. Now, this is the ICN tournament. TE Marines team just started playing MLG variant about 3 weeks ago. They don't have a lot of experience in the game type, but I think they do a good job here of bringing, a good game set and a good mindset to the play, and they're able to, advance fairly far into the ICN tournament. I do believe they do get knocked out by Static here in the 3rd round as they played Search and Destroy and lost a 3-1 lead, which is, it happens. It really does. It always happens. And good job to Team Static. And, thanks for the gameplay to Team Equinox. Hope to bring you guys some more stuff of mine later this week, as I have been scrimming quite a bit. So, thanks for checking out the video. I'm Holiday Doc, and I'm out of here.